If you do this for 5 minutes a day, you will never feel lost on the neck again when you're looking for where to play your major chords. Not only are you going to learn where to find them, you're going to learn how to practice them so you don't forget them. So the idea is if you can play these 5 open major chords, C, A, G, E, and D, then you already know the cage shapes in 5 places up the neck. You just don't know where to look yet. Hey up, I'm Ricky, and today's lesson is major chords only. I'll do minors in a follow-up video, so make sure you're subscribed. Right, we're going to focus on one chord at a time, and we're going to move it all the way up the neck. You're not allowed to change the chord halfway through this. We have to be really disciplined. So if you choose C major, that's the chord that we're playing the whole time. We're just gonna change shapes and change positions. That's it. That's the one rule that removes the overwhelm and turns caged into a map. So this is what I call the one chord 5 places drill. We're going to play the same major chord in this exact order. The C shape, A shape, G shape, E shape and D shape. Now the idea is to eliminate the awkward fingerings. So that means that I don't care how many strings that you play. 3 notes is fine, 4 notes is fine, 5 notes, 6 notes. It just has to be the same chord. So the first chord we're going to play is the C-shaped C. This is in the open position here. So you might know this one already, but what I still want you to do is I want you to say it as you play it so that you label the chord. You're looking at it, you're listening to it, but you're labeling it as well. When you've played it, I want you to pause and digest what happened, what observations you made before you move to the next chord. Here we go. So this is C. Now I'm going to move to the next chord, which is the A shape, because we're going around the caged sequence. So the A shape is here. Now we can play in a number of ways. We can play it with 3 fingers to hold down the A shape here. There's the A shape. Now if I move that up there, I've got the chord there. It doesn't matter. You just need to habitualize one way of playing that. And then once you get that, it'll come really quickly. So we can play it like that, we can play it like that. We don't have to have the thin E string. Like I say, the rule is, don't care how many strings you play. Could be 3, could be these 3, it could be these 3, doesn't matter. So that's what we're doing there. But as long as you play it, and you say C, look at what it looks like, see how it feels, and then move on to the next shape. Now the next shape we're going to play is the G shape. Now what I have to do is I have to find that C note here on my E string and play the G shape. Now you can see that this one is a little bit tricky. So what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the E strings here. We're going to keep part of that A shape because this is the thing about cage, guys. These shapes connect to each other. So if we take that part of the A shape and we take that note from the G shape there, and we'll play the inside 4 strings, so it gives us 4 notes. But we're starting on the 3rd of the chord. This gives us the first inversion. It's very, very pretty, and it's another way of adding something really juicy into your chord voicings. Yeah, so that's very, very straight, whereas this is just a little bit richer. So if we play that there, this is also going to be a C chord. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to say C, C. And I can see what's gone on there. And I'm listening to it, making sure I'm getting a good shape there. Now the next shape I'm going to play is the E shape because we've gone C, A, G. We're going to use that same root note that we had for the G shape, but now it's the root note for the E shape because that's the note that they share. And this is a good old-fashioned bar chord here. This is an E shape that's under my fingers there. If you look, there's the E. I just move it up here to the C position and I just play that bar chord there. But when I'm playing this, using this E shape, I'm still looking at it and I'm looking at that root note and I'm saying that's the C major chord. So say it as I play it. C. Observe, listen. When you observe and listen, you'll see what you could be doing better. That's the whole thing, because once you understand what's going wrong, then you can fix it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move up to the D shape now. And the thing about the D shape is it uses 4 strings. It doesn't use the E string. And the A string, traditionally, if we use this open D note here, and we use that to play the D chord. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to use some of the other strings because we want an easier way to play this. If I try to play this as a bar chord going across there, it's a little bit tricky, but I think that this isn't always the best way to play this. Like I said, 3 notes, 4 notes, it doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this in an inversion. I'm going to take that note that's on this thin E string, I'm going to chuck it on the thick E string. So I've put that over there now. I want my root note there. I can play this little shape here. And then what I can do is I can add that third there. And this is another first inversion. It's rather lovely. So I'll play that there. Now if you want to, you can skinny that down even more and just play the third, the root, and the fifth just there. I'm muting out the A string. And that's a really useful way to play that shape there. Equally, I can play it like this as a more traditional slash chord shape. So we've got this part of the D chord here, but I'm just switching that over there. But really, the simplest way to get your eye in is to see this little shape here. If you want to put that pinky on there just to end it on a root note, that gives you 4 notes for that chord. So let me just play up those. We've got a C-shaped C, an A-shaped C, a G-shaped C, an E-shaped C, and a D-shaped C. Now the thing is, what we can do is we can connect that cage pattern back up again. Because we're at the 12th fret, the fretboard is beginning again. So let me play the C shape. Now you can see that that's a little bit cramped, but we can do a shorthand for this. If I take this pinky off here, then what I can do is I can play the D, the G, and the B, and the E string there. And I can play those 4 strings, and I can get that C chord, albeit I'm starting on the 3rd again, so I'm getting a first inversion. So really, what we've done is we have played the same chord, which was C major, in 5 places up the neck, and that is the cage system for major chords, how I see it. Now let's upgrade this so you start learning note names as well, because if you skip this step, you'll always be relying on shapes alone, and that's where things start to fall apart. Because as soon as you change key or position, you end up being lost. So before you play the chord, what you're going to do is you're going to point to the root note first. Now guys, don't think about it too much, just point at the root note. You've got to know where your root notes are. So let's do this. We're going to go root note first. Yes, so we go C major chord, C shaped C, that's the root note just there. I'm looking and knowing where that root note is. So play that, then I play the chord. And I say it, C chord. That connects 4 things all at once. The shape that you see, the sound that you hear, the grip that you feel in your hands, and the geography of the neck and where the chord lives. And that's why this sticks. Now one quick thing, the C shape can get awkward when we move it up the neck. So let's do the exact same drill with a different chord where the shapes sit a little bit better. Let's use the E major just to show you that this isn't just about moving from the C. This is anywhere in the cage sequence you can jump in. So we're going to use one chord, which is going to be an E major, and we're just going to change positions. So we're going to go like this. We've got an E shape here, which is an open chord. Then what we're going to do is we're going to play that cheaty little 3-note version, which is the D shape here in its inversion, and I'm muting out the A string there, and I'm playing the E, A, D, and G string. I can add those other notes like I showed you in the previous example. There's the D shape. Now the next shape I'm going to need here is the C shape. The C shape looks like this. So let's take some time with this C shape and just look at it again. This can be a bit tricky. Now if you're going to bar all the way across, that's a little bit harder. What I would suggest is just barring out the D shape there and then putting the rest of the shape on here. You can play that as the full shape. That's really good to get used to, but what you can do is you can cheat like I did before and just use these 4 strings. It means we're starting on the 3rd of the chord, so we're really just getting an inversion of that E chord. But if you listen, E major, E major, and then we get the E major here, bar there, and put that pinky on. That tells me where my root note is for the A shape, and then with the A shape, where the A shape meets the G shape. This is the intersect here. That's going to give me my first inversion G shape. And then at the 12th fret, I'm back to my E shape again. Let me just go through those again. We've got the E in the E shape. We've got the E in a first inversion D shape. Then what happens is we get the E in a first inversion C shape. Let me put that root in just so you can see the shape there. Then we get an A-shaped bar chord. Then we get the G shape that's been modified into that first inversion there, which is lovely. And then we're at the 12th fret, which puts us all the way back to that E again. And that means we have a version of every major chord everywhere up the neck. Now guys, what I want to explain to you is something that is massively beneficial. Here's how to practice this and anything else if you want to without feeling overwhelmed. And this is what I call the 2-minute rule. Commit to this for 2 minutes every day. So pick one chord and move through it in all 5 caged positions. Remember, we have 12 notes to go at here, so you've got lots to go through. But I want you to think about 2 minutes. Notice how the feeling of overwhelming practice time disappears. 2 minutes isn't difficult. You can probably practice for longer if we're honest, but most of the time, feeling you don't have enough time to practice is the thing that stops you from getting started. The 2-minute rule solves that. 2 minutes, everybody can do that. If this lesson helped you stop guessing and start seeing where your major chords live, then that's a massive step forward. Now, if some of those shapes felt uncomfortable, especially anything with a bar, that doesn't mean you've hit a wall. It means you're just missing one small piece of the plan. The cage system and bar chords are meant to work together, not fight each other, and most players struggle simply because nobody showed them how to approach bar chords properly. I've got a full lesson on the channel that breaks down bar chords into simple, manageable steps so that they feel easier, they sound cleaner, and it's all far less painful. And if that's the bit that's holding you back, click on the video on screen and I'll walk you through it.